Welcome or welcome back for my weekly human design transit report. And today is February 7th. And I want to start out with a few bigger updates about things that are happening and have been happening. So the first is that Mercury went direct on February 4th last week. Yay! And when it did so, that means that all planets are now moving direct. And this is the first time that that's happened in quite some time. And the main reason that this is important is that when all the planets are retrograde, or a lot of planets are retrograde, we can feel a little bit like we're like moving through peanut butter. It can just feel like there's a kind of energetic resistance to moving. And when that happens at the beginning of the year, it can be difficult because we have this idea, okay, we're going to start the new year and we're going to have all this energy for it. And then it's kind of like this. So now all the planets are moving forward until April 29th, which is when Pluto retrogrades. And then we get another Mercury retrograde in May. And then we have Saturn goes retrograde in June. Uranus goes retrograde in June. Jupiter goes retrograde in July. And by August 24th, we have a whole bunch of planets going retrograde. And we have a lot of retrogrades happening in September and October of 2022, just like we did in September and October of 2021. So there will be a kind of similar feeling that we'll have during this time. But this period between now and the end of April is a wonderful time to be really moving forward with things. You may feel almost like, you got unleashed from something that was holding you back for a bit. And so I would say make the most of this time. Before we get into the specifics of the Sun and the Earth placements for the transit that's going to start tomorrow on February 8th, I want to just step back and take a look at the chart overall. And the thing that really jumps out at me is that we have so many activations in the knowing circuit. If you take a look at this image, there are 9 activations in the knowing circuit. That's 9 activations out of 13 possible. So we've got a lot of energy in individual circuitry, and in particular in the knowing circuit. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love to talk about the knowing circuit because I really feel that it is a huge superpower and ally for us, because it's where we're able to get really leading edge breakthrough ideas, out of the box thinking. And we need that these days. We've got a lot of things that we need to address here on planet Earth. And I know that you care about that kind of thing. If you're following me, I talk about this a lot. And we need to have some ideas that are coming in really from superconsciousness, because our conditioning has kept us in a relatively narrow frame of mind that has kept us from being able to see the bigger picture, and in a lot of ways has gotten in our way of being able to even see the damage that we've done to the planet, for example, right? Because we've been so engaged in the story of progress that has been deeply embedded in us through centuries of development, right? Industrial and then technological development. So we need to be able to break out of that and have very out of the box leading edge ideas. And the knowing circuit absolutely helps us do that. So just take a look at all of the different activations that are happening there. And you can lean into this for yourself to be able to just be asking questions. If you're a generator or a manifesting generator, and really whatever your human design type is, you can be asking generative questions about, I wonder, and you can be wondering about what is mine to do, who might I need to connect with, how do I need to prepare, and so on. We've got both Venus and Mars in the gate 38, which is the gate of the visionary leader, or the Martin Luther King gate, as it's been called in quantum human design. design. And so we've got both our masculine and our feminine energy. Our spiritual warrior and our divine feminine are lighting up this visionary leader energy, which is very much in the knowing circuit. So I just encourage you to be leaning into that this week, and to be asking yourself, what is my role to play as a visionary leader, as a spiritual warrior, as I am expressing my side of the divine feminine. So taking a look now at what's happening with this transit that's starting tomorrow on February 8th, we're going to have the sun move into the gate 49, which in traditional human design is the gate of principles, and in quantum human design is the gate of revolution. It's on the emotional solar plexus, so it is emotional, and it is in the tribal circuit, known as the community circuit of the tribal circuit. And so it has to do with our relationships. And it has to do with our partnerships and how are we relating to each other. And some of the downsides of what can happen in the 49, whether this is a shadow or a disempowered aspect, could be that we quit prematurely because we're afraid of intimacy. That is sometimes more of a shadow aspect where we're trying to get more control over a relationship by saying, I'm out of here, right? I'm the one who's going to say goodbye first, whether that's with a love relationship or in a work situation, whatever that might be. Or it could be really disempowered, which is like, I'm going to kind of slink away because I don't feel empowered in this relationship to maybe be able to speak up for what I want or to negotiate for what I want. And so I don't want to hang in there. It's like, you did something to offend me, something happened that really kind of went against my values, and rather than being able to hang in there and talk about it, the emotion can take over and lead you to bail before you should. Now, the flip side of this is you could potentially stay longer than is really good for you, is you could just be making excuses for somebody else, even when it's against your values. This is usually a kind of disempowered way of thinking because you're thinking, well, maybe there isn't anybody else out there for me, or maybe there's not a better job for me. I better just stay here, even though it doesn't fit me, even if it's against what I really believe in, even if I felt offended in the past, right? That tends to be a little bit more of a disempowered way of experiencing this energy. But the more evolved way of experiencing it and expressing it is to embrace the idea of revolution, if you will. Of being able to stand on your principles, to stand by your values, and to revolutionize or evolve the relationships that you're in so that they are in alignment for you, so that you can be living out your highest principles and in alignment with your values. But you're not going to bail prematurely, and you're not going to stay and not say anything. You're not going to make the person wrong or the situation wrong. You're going to find a way to show up and speak your truth and be unattached to what happens. You're going to be able to listen in to what somebody else is sharing. You're not going to let your emotions get in the way so that you can't actually hear what else is happening. You're going to allow yourself to be influenced in your partnerships so that ideally everyone, whether it's you and one other person or you and a team, can rise to a higher level of awareness and understanding so that everyone can be living from a bigger perspective that includes everyone and also is in alignment with the highest principles possible. So while the sun is lighting up that revolutionary partnership energy, the earth is lighting up the gate 4, which is on the Ajna center, and it's in the logic circuit, which is part of collective circuitry. So we've got two different kinds of circuits going here. We've got the tribal, which is more about relationships, and then we've got the logic, and in this case, it's kind of a linear energy. It's in the left brain. It's the Ajna center, which is the thinking part of the brain. And the best way to really be thinking about this is it's open to possibility. It's named possibility in quantum human design. In more traditional human design, it's called answers. So if we just think about this with its mate, the 63, which is the beginning of the logic circuit, that in traditional human design is doubt, right? Which then leads to answers. We have doubt, and then we're trying to get answers from the doubt, right? And then more in quantum human design, we're in curiosity and possibility. So you can feel how much more open and expansive the quantum human design definition of this energy is. So we want to be able to put aside skepticism, doubt, which we try to deal with by coming down with answers, right? It's like if we have some skepticism, we might be pushing away the possibility that there's any answers at all. Or to be able to get rid of that discomfort, we might be trying to solidify in answers. But if we can open up into possibility instead, if we can activate our curiosity, and so we can keep this pattern circuit or logic circuit open rather than having it closed down right here from the get-go. If you think about it for a minute, it's really too early to come up with answers anyway, right? We're at the very beginning of this circuit. Energy is just starting to come in from superconsciousness. And so we haven't even had a time to really identify what it is. So if we can keep open the possibilities and we can stay curious, then we can be receiving what it is that superconsciousness wants to bring to us through our left brain. Sometimes the left brain gets a bit of a bad rap, when we're talking about how it can be linear and logical and strategic and analytical, and it can feel a little dry and tight, condensed, if you will. And yet we need all of that to function well in the world. We need all of it. We need the right brain energy and the left brain energy. It's not that we need one and not the other, not at all. If we only had right brain energy, we would really be in trouble. We would not be able to function in the world. So we need that left brain energy. We just want it to be in right relationship with all of the other attributes of who we are. As the earth lights up the gate of possibility, we can ground ourselves in a sense of newness, of a sense of openness. We don't have to get into a codified kind of stilted way of thinking at all. And in this way, we can be more aligned with what else is going on when in this knowing circuit that I was talking about a minute ago, with the breakthrough ideas, the out of the box thinking. And so we can lean into that to help open up what it is that's coming in through the beginning of that logic circuit. As we do that, it can help us to ground our revolutionary ideas of partnership and of relationship and of what's possible in our partnerships and our relationship. And we can use the aspects of logic and reason and patterns and so on to help us to understand our relationships better, but not in a way that shuts things down, more in a way that opens things out. So as you go forward into this week, I encourage you to be in that state of the knowing circuit, of letting things come in and paying attention to them and not just rejecting them or thinking that they're crazy or they're not going to work because they are kind of, out of the box. And to allow that to also stimulate and enrich your understanding of possibility and of revolution. That makes for a very potent combination. If you've enjoyed the video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and make sure to go and get my book on getting started with human design. That foundational book will help you a lot to be able to understand many of the things that I talk about in my human design transit reports and all of the videos that I do. Many blessings, much love. Bye for now.